Shalom, shalom. We be live. How's everyone doing? Have you liked the stream? If not, please do it right now, unless you're driving or your hands are busy. But other than that, please like the stream. This stream is important because, guys, everybody, well, not everybody, but most people are talking when it comes to, Middle East politics about an potential upcoming war. There's a lot of military buildup around Iran right now, and a lot of people are suggesting that an attack is imminent. Some people are saying no. Some people are saying yes. Everybody is analyzing the American side of it. I'm here to analyze for you the Iranian regime side of it, because this is the part that is missing, and this is what you don't get in other places. This part, this analysis that I'm getting you, the narratives that are coming from inside Iran, from the regime itself, regarding the response to Trump, because Trump has made it very, very, very clear that either there will be negotiations regarding, either there will be negotiations for the complete dismantlement of the Iranian regime's uranium enrichment and ballistic missiles, or anything that could bring the Iranian regime nuclear missiles. All of that, all of it should be, there should be negotiations. And guys, I'm not saying direct or indirect negotiations, because I will get to that, which one is acceptable, because that's this whole story of it on its own. Either that the Trump administration has made it clear, either that will happen, or as he says it, they will bomb the shit out of you. That's what they're saying. They are saying, and all military analysts that I'm following, they suggest that if a full-on confrontational war happens between the Iranian regime and the United States, we are looking at a war that is greater than any war we have seen since World War II. So greater than Vietnam, greater than the Korean War, greater than all of that. This would be a new, like, in our lifetime, we have never seen a war this big. It's not going to be World War III, but it is going to be something, if it is full on confrontational head-to-head direct war between United States and Israel on one side and the Iranian regime on the other side. This would be, it would be much bigger than the United States Iraq war, for sure. It would be bigger than anyone alive, well, unless you're very, very old, has ever seen, right? So imagine Vietnam War, imagine the invasion of Iraq. This is going to be bigger than that. So, and it's amazing that a lot of people are not analyzing the things that I'm going to be showing you, because a lot of focus is on what the Trump administration is saying. There's not a lot of focus on what the Iranian regime, how the Iranian regime is responding to it. I have seen some people analyze it, but not in the way that I'm going to do for you guys today. By the way, Sohail, thank you so much for being here, highlighting the comments. And yes, everyone, Gene is saying in the chat, everybody liked the stream. People are confirming that they have liked the stream. Sohail, highlight the people that are saying that they have liked the stream, so other people get encouraged to like as well, because I need people to see this. So this video is a little bit old. I'm going to get to the recent videos soon. First, I'm going to show you what was the position when the Trump administration was suggesting that either the Iranian regime has to negotiate or there will be hell to pay. At first, Khamenei's response was, hell no, there is no negotiations happening. And now that, because they thought that Trump is bluffing, right? And now that, so this, I'm going to show you the before and after. This is Khamenei's response. Again, the main person that you have to listen when it comes to Iranian politics. You shouldn't be listening. You should be listening to, but the main person to listen to is not Pezeshkian, is not Arakchi, is not Larijani, is not Salami, is none of these. It's none of these. Okay, it's Khamenei. So let's listen to him before and after the military, guys. And the military build-up around Iran right now is unprecedented. This is the levels of escalation. I don't know how many B-2 bombers they just brought there, like the amount of airstrike carriers, the amount of B-2 bombers, the amount of F-35s that they're now bringing out around, that the Trump administration is building up around Iran. Some analysts saying that this is either the beginning of a war, or is basically a warning to the Iranian regime that either you bend the fucking knee or we will blow you to the smithereens. Okay, so this is escalating very fast, and I think like if a war happens, we're not 100% sure if it will happen or not, because these people are scared. They might bend the knee, but if a war eventually happens, like, because if it happens, it's going to be pretty soon. This right now is the most important news that we should be talking about. More important than anything else that you're seeing on the news. This is it, because this could be the beginning of the greatest war that any of you have ever experienced. Yes, a lot. Durut, guys, Durut. Right. Okay. So also, Sohail, make sure that you star a couple of comments at all times so I can see what people are saying in the live chat. Oh, I don't. We already got a super chat. Thank you so much for the super sticker, heads and tails. Thank you so much for the super chat, and also thank you, Sohail. That's fantastic. All right, so let's listen to him. This is before they were pissing their pants, because this was before the military buildup that we're seeing. So listen to this.
مذاکره با آمریکا هیچ تأثیری در رفع مشکلات کشور نداره.
So he's saying that some of you have already seen this, but now we're going to go to I'm going to translate this for you now, and then we're going to go to the present videos. Here he's saying that first of all, negotiations with the United States will solve none of our problems.
اینو باید ما درست بفهمیم.
We should understand this.
اینجور به ما وانمود نکنن که اگر نشستیم پشت میز مذاکره با اون دولت فلان مشکل یا فلان مشکل حل میشه. نه نخیر.
None of our problems will be solved if we negotiate with US.
با مذاکره با آمریکا هیچ مشکلی حل نمیشه. دلیل تجربه.
Why do we know that? From experience. We know that negotiations with the United States gets us nothing.
ما در دهه 90 نشستیم با آمریکا مذاکره کردیم حدود 2 سال. یک معاهده‌ای هم تشکیل شد. البته آمریکا تنها نبود، چند کشور دیگه هم بودن. لکن محور آمریکا بود، عمدتاً آمریکا بود. دولت ما نشست.
Right. So he's going to go explain that his history of what happened last time when we negotiated with the United States, but let me get to his conclusion.
تحریم‌های آمریکا برداشته نشد. در مورد سازمان ملل هم تهدیدی همیشه بالا سر ایران وجود داشته باشه. این معاهده محصول مذاکره 2 سال به نظرم بیشتر یا کمتر.
He's saying we basically tried so hard to negotiate with the United States, and the result was nothing for us.
این تجربه است دیگه. از این تجربه استفاده کنیم.
Yeah. Let me see his conclusion.
امتیاز دادیم، آمدیم، اما نتیجه‌ای که مقصودمون بود به دست نیاوردیم. همین معاهده را هم با همه این نقص‌هایی که داشت طرف مقابل باز خراب کرد، نقض کرد، پاره کرد. با یه چنین دولتی مذاکره نباید کرد. مذاکره کردن.
So he's saying, here's the conclusion: we should not be negotiating with such a government.
عاقلانه نیست.
Negotiation with such a government is not wise.
هوشمندانه نیست.
It's not smart.
شرافتمندانه نیست.
It's not honorable. So this was his position. Khamenei, the supreme leader, the representative of God on earth in Iran, he came out and said that negotiation, any form of negotiation with the United States is neither wise, smart, or honorable. That's okay. So listen, remember. And then here also he came out and said, he says, even if in an impossible hypothetical situation we ever negotiated with the United States, and he said it's impossible.
دولت جمهوری اسلامی با رژیم آمریکا مذاکره هم بکنه، با این دولت کنونی آمریکا هرگز مذاکره نمیکنه.
He's saying even if we wanted to do that, we would not be negotiating with this administration. We would not be negotiating with this administration. We wouldn't be doing that.
لذاست که مذاکره نمی کنیم و ممنوع از همه هم بدانند.
So here he said, at the end of it, he said, so everybody should know that we will not negotiate. We will not negotiate, and it is forbidden. It is forbidden. So, but now recently, what just happened is that they came out and said that they might negotiate, and the negotiation. So let me actually show you a couple of other videos. Let me look at this one. So this is when they were afraid. So this is Larijani. This is a very, very important politician in Iran. So let's listen to him.
که اگر شما ایران رو میگید ما نمیپذیریم این رو چون ایران قابلیتی پیدا کرده، خب ایران میگه من قابلیت دارم ولی فتوای رهبری این است که ما به سمت سلاح نمیریم. فتوا غیر از دستورات سیاسی است. ولی این نامه ایشون من تا اونجا که یادمه یه بار در سازمان ملل هم ثبت شده و تا امروز هم من چند روز پیش دیدم که رئیس جامعه اطلاعاتی آمریکایی خانومی است، ایشون گفته ما اطلاع داریم که ایران به سمت سلاح نرفته. خب چی میگی؟ حرفتون چیست؟ من فکر کنم یه اشتباه استراتژیکی داره میکنه امریکا. اگر سر مسئله هسته‌ای، یعنی ما هم گفتیم فتوا هست، هم زیر نظر آژانس کار میکنیم و به سمت سلاح نمیریم. اما اگه
So he's saying, Larijani is saying that so we already said that we're not going to make nuclear weapons, but if you threaten us, we are going to make a nuclear deal.
یعنی ما هم گفتیم فتوا
we are going to make nuclear weapons.
هم زیر نظر آژانس کار میکنیم و به سمت سلاح نمیریم. اما اگه شما در مسئله هسته‌ای ایران کار اشتباهی بکنید، ایران رو مجبور میکنید بریم.
See, guys, this is very important because the highest officials in Iran are now saying that if you threaten us, we will have no choice, even though Khamenei has a fatwa against a nuclear weapon. Maybe you are putting Iran, he's saying Iran, in a position where we would have no choice but to build a nuclear weapon. This is a confirmation that all the people who said that Iran is going in the direction that fatwa was a fucking joke, because a lot of leftists in the United States were constantly saying that the Iranian regime has no choice but to never make a nuclear weapon because they have a fatwa. But this is a confirmation that fatwa does not stop anything. He's saying that we will make a nuclear weapon because you're threatening us.
There's something.
But this is very strange. He's saying, like, if you attack us, we will make a nuclear weapon. I mean, the whole point of nuclear weapon is for people not to attack you. If they attack you, you might not even be around anymore for you to be able to make a nuclear weapon. In fact, this is the opposite of how nuclear weapons work. Nuclear weapons are supposed to be there to cause deterrence. When he says, if you attack us, we will build a nuclear weapon, not only this not cause deterrence, this is actually going to motivate the other side to attack you even more. This is actually the opposite of what you should be doing with nuclear weapons.
باید از خودش دفاع کنه. با دست خودتون داره این کارو میکنید. ایران نمیخواد این کارو بکنه. ولی به هر حال وقتی شما فشار آوردید، اون وقت توجیه ثانویه پیدا میکنه. چاره ایران نداره. مردم فشار میارن.
Okay, so that's what he threatened here. Now let's look at what the president, again, the president, remember, in Iran, he has no power himself. This president specifically, he's completely being controlled by Khamenei. Everything he says is basically what Khamenei told him to say. He himself has no power. So let's see what the president is saying, right? So listen to this.
جوابی هم که مقام معظم رهبری در رابطه
So remember, Khamenei said there's going to be no negotiation, And now the president just came out and said this, that he's saying it on behalf of the supreme leader. I will translate to you word by word because this is very important. Because when Khamenei wants to come and act tough, he uses his own voice. He comes in front of the cameras and he says like, oh, there's going to be no negotiations, fuck these guys, fuck the United States, fuck Trump, all of that. But then when he wants to surrender and when he wants to bend the knee, it's too embarrassing for him to come and say that. So he sends out his president, and his president does the bending the knee. His president, because he doesn't want to be the humiliations are supposed to be for the president, while all the acting tough and alpha is supposed to be for Khamenei. Okay, so here's the president will do all the beta stuff, the supreme leader will do all the alpha stuff. Okay, so now here's the bending the knee. This is in response to all of the military buildup around Iran. So watch this.
جوابی هم که مقام معظم رهبری در رابطه با نامه‌ای که ترامپ فرستاده برادر ما دکتر عراق.
So he's saying so you remember Trump sent a direct letter to Khamenei telling him to either surrender or I'll fuck you up. Okay, that was basically the official summary of Trump's letter to Khamenei. Bend the knee or I'll fuck you up. Okay, so now Pezeshkian is talking about the response letter of Khamenei to Trump, which is so bizarre that there is even a response letter, because in Trump's first term, when he wrote a letter to Khamenei and he gave it to Shinzo Abe, Japan, to bring it to Khamenei, Khamenei told the Japan to take back the letter. Trump is not even worthy of a response. I'm not going to even read Trump's letter, right? And that was then. Now Trump is, and that letter that in Trump's first term, the letter that he said to Khamenei, that was actually a very not a very aggressive, threatening letter, and Khamenei didn't even read it and sent it back. But now Trump is sending a much stronger, more threatening letter to Khamenei, and now this time, instead of Khamenei sending it back and saying I haven't even read it, he's actually responding to it, according to Pezeshkian, according to the president, which is a confirmation that these people only recognize the language of force, not the language of negotiations. This is what we always said to you about Hamas. This is what we said to you about Hezbollah. This is what is true about the Houthis, especially the Houthis, and this is also true about the Islamic Republic. When you want to negotiate with them and act nice, they will not respond. When you act tough and speak to them from a position of power and threaten them, then they will cower and they will bend. This is why Khamenei now responded to Trump's second term letter, which is interesting because he said we will not negotiate with the United States, and he also said even if we ever did negotiate with the United States, we will not negotiate with the Trump administration, the killer of Qasem Soleimani. But now we have confirmation that actually there is a response. So listen to this.
جوابی هم که مقام معظم رهبری در رابطه با نامه‌ای که ترامپ فرستاده برادر ما دکتر عراقچی اونو به
So he's saying that the response that our great supreme leader has responded in response to Trump's letter that our foreign minister, Mr. Arakchi, took to give to them. So Iraq. So we have So this is Pezeshkian, the president. Khamenei, the supreme leader, wrote a response to Trump, gave it to Arakchi, which is the foreign minister of Iran, took it to Oman. Okay. Remember, Oman is the country that the Iranian regime prefers as a mediator, as negotiations between United States and the Iranian regime. United States prefers the UAE. Remember, okay, so the Iranian regime doesn't want to talk directly with the Trump administration. They now have signaled that they want to do negotiations, even though they said they will never do negotiations. Now they're saying they want to do negotiations, but indirect negotiations. Trump originally said, no, I want direct negotiations. And the Iranian regime said, like, no way we're going to do direct negotiations. It's too taboo for the hardliners in Iran to talk directly to the person who killed Qasem Soleimani. It would be humiliating and embarrassing. So they're saying that if we want to negotiate with you, it has to be indirect. And they pick Oman as the country in between United States and the Iranian regime, but United States has picked UAE. Okay, but the fact that they're even saying that we will negotiate is earth-shattering. But it gets worse. So let's continue. So he's here saying Araqchi took the letter from Khamenei and took it to Oman to respond to the United States. So listen to this.
به دست رابط آمریکایی رسیده و در اونجا هم
So now they say they have confirmation that it got from Oman to the American representative.
مذاکره به طور مستقیم رد شده، اما مذاکره به طور غیر مستقیم همیشه ایران در اون رابطه بوده و الان هم.
So he's lying now. He's lying here. He's saying that negotiations, direct negotiations has been rejected. Like he's saying we have rejected, our supreme leader has rejected direct negotiations. This has been rejected, but indirect negotiations has always been on the table. We have always been open to indirect negotiations. Bull fucking shit. I have at least 4 or 5 videos of Khamenei, and I showed 2 of you to it. He didn't say that we will not do direct negotiations. This is a fucking lie. Khamenei clearly said no negotiations. Absolutely no negotiations. They're acting like we have a memory of a goldfish. I showed you the videos. Khamenei said any negotiations with the United States is unwise, is not smart, and is not honorable. It's not honorable, which is a big, guys, honorable when it comes to Islam, people with a traditional Islamic mindset is fucking like, is like very, you know they have the honor culture in these societies. Honor is a huge deal, okay? And I don't know how to communicate how big of a deal it is for you to do something that the supreme leader has labeled as dishonorable or you know, so it cannot get any worse. He's calling you Bisharaf. He's calling anybody who's going to do negotiation with the United States Bisharaf. So there are so many examples of Khamenei not distinguishing between direct or indirect negotiations, just completely saying no negotiations, not now, not ever with the United States. And now Pezeshkian is pretending that we were only saying no to direct negotiations. And this is in response to them shedding their pants because of all the B-2 bombers that are surrounding them. So watch this.
مقام معظم رهبری تاکید فرمودن که مذاکره غیر مستقیم همچنان میتونه ادامه داشته باشه.
Wow. He's saying our supreme leader has said that indirect negotiations can actually continue. That is fucking insane. Like if you guys are following the drama in Iranian politics, like the Iranians who follow this every day, this is mind-blowing to them. And this is going to cause what he's saying. He's saying that the supreme leader has said whether we're open to indirect negotiations. This is so good because guys, even if there is no war happening, start that because I'm going to respond to that. Even if there's no direct negotiations happening, I'm sorry, even if there's no war, the fact that Khamenei came out and said no negotiation and now he's saying yes to indirect negotiations, that's going to make a lot of his supporters leave him. This is going to cause more conflict within the supporters of the Iranian regime. This is why this is so good. This is why a lot of us are hopeful that even if there is no war between the United States and the Iranian regime, this swings back and forth is going to make a lot of people lose their either become a lot of people who support the regime either change their mind, or some of them who still continue to support the regime lose their passion for supporting the regime. Like they are less aggressive when it comes to supporting the regime. And this is how regimes topple. So watch this.
که مذاکره غیر مستقیم همچنان میتونه ادامه داشته باشه. ما از مذاکره نه تنها پرهیز نمی‌کنیم بلکه اون بدعهدی هاست که برای ما مشکل ایجاد کرده تا کنون.
Like we never run away from negotiations. The only problem is that they do not abide by the deals of by the agreements in our negotiations. So basically he's saying that we're always open to the negotiations. The problem is with the other side. That's what he's saying.
باید ثابت بکنن که میتونن
Like the other side has to prove that they could actually negotiate.
اعتماد رو در رابطه با تصمیمات ایجاد بکنن که امیدوارم اینم شکل بگیره.
Yeah. Oh, Amir saying sometimes diplomacy needs a little push. Yeah, just to be clear, in Iran, at least, many people hoping that Khamenei does not negotiate. In Iran, a lot of anti-regime people, a lot of pro-regime people. This is interesting because some pro-regime people and anti-regime people in Iran, a lot of them agree on this. Pro-regime people don't want the regime to negotiate because they're saying, oh, fuck the US. Why should we negotiate with Trump, who killed our Qasem Soleimani? But anti-regime people, a lot of them are like, oh, I hope they don't negotiate so that United States attacks, right? So a lot of people think like, oh my God, I hope Khamenei continues to insist that in not attacking, so that maybe something comes of this. Let me actually show you. This is a very important person in Iranian politics, right? Mutahari. I think he's right now a member of parliament. Okay, but now, so and guys, this is one of the most important officials in Iranian politics, and this is more and more people are now openly criticizing the supreme leader. Remember, this was up until just recently a major red line that nobody crossed. Like even people who criticize Islam, even people who criticize the entirety of the Islamic Republic, even people who criticize the Islamic Revolution on 1979, one red line was not to criticize the supreme leader. But now, not only people are criticizing the supreme leader, we see some officials are now criticizing the supreme leader, and which this suggests that there's a major crack, like things are falling apart. And some officials are criticizing the supreme leader, and because there's so much disagreement and infighting, there's not much is happening to them, and this is going to make more other people daring to come out and speak out against the supreme leader. So let's see what this guy is saying. So here he's saying we are constantly just sitting around waiting to see what the supreme leader says. So what the supreme leader says, so that we do what the supreme leader says. Right. Guys, this guy is in Iran. He's an Iranian politician, okay? He's saying, but the president has the ability to just come out and say, I'm ready for negotiations. So he was saying that even if the supreme leader says that we shouldn't negotiate, the president should come out and say that, no, I'm ready for negotiations. Basically, he's suggesting that the president should defy the supreme leader. What the fuck? Like, okay. You know, even if the supreme leader comes out and says later that I was against that, yeah, but the president could say like, I just did my duty. The president could come out and said, I am ready, and I see it the right thing to do to negotiate. Okay, but here's the thing: this could also be a secret defense of the supreme leader. You know why? Because this could also be a 4D chess move to blame the president for the negotiations and save the supreme leader. However, the president when the president comes out and says, the position constantly comes and says yes to negotiations, he doesn't do as good of a job as somebody like Zarif he doesn't take the blame to himself. He constantly says that, oh yeah, we're saying yes to negotiations because the supreme leader said so, right? But what he should have done to protect the supreme leader, he should have just said, oh, I'm going to do the negotiations, without bringing in the supreme leader into it, so that the supreme leader doesn't get all the blame from the hardliners. So this could either be a form of dissent against the supreme leader, what he's saying, but it could also be a 4D chess move to protect the supreme leader from the blame that why the fuck are we negotiating, and just blame it all on the president. Okay, so let's watch this. Oh, by the way, we also got a super chat. Oh no, we got 50 memberships. Holy crap, that's amazing. Thank you for the memberships gifts. 50 memberships, are you serious? That's okay, guys. I'm gonna do a member only stream soon because of this, so that these 50 people get to see our membership only streams as well. So look out for that. Thank you so much for that. That's very generous. But anyway, let's continue.
که مذاکره هم انجام بشه. هنوز ترامپ لحنشو تون نکرده بود.
And like, oh, so he's saying Trump hasn't become as aggressive. His tone is not yet as aggressive as it could be.
اون موقع به نظرم ایشون باید سریع اعلام میکرد. اعلام موافقت میکرد.
He's saying the president should have came out and said that, yeah, we were going to say yes to negotiations, basically defying against what the supreme leader is saying. Let's actually look at some of the heads of IRGC, what Salami and Hajizadeh are saying. This is Salami. And guys, yes, his name is actually Salami, okay? I know you guys, English-speaking people, always find this guy's name funny, but let's listen to this is the head of the IRGC. But let's listen what to his name is Salami.
تهدید با ملت ایران صحبت میکنن. به نظرتون به نتیجه خواهند رسید با این زبان یا خیر؟
What we got another 50 membership from heads and tails. So you got us 100 memberships. Holy crap, man, that's amazing. Thank you so much. So we got 100 memberships, guys. We have 100 new members. That's amazing. Wow. Ali, you need to turn on accepting memberships for this to happen to you. Like, you need to go to your settings and turn it on. But thank you. So he's asking Salami that the United States is basically speaking from a position of threatening the Iranian regime. Do you think they will have that would have okay? Do you think that would have any results? So Salami is saying. By the way, that's background noise is basically Shia nonsense that you're hearing in the background. Sorry about that.
شکستبار برای دشمنان ما که از حوادث این 45-6 سال گذشته درس عبرت نگرفتن.
So he's saying that these threats from the United States is just because they're losing, and these strategies by the United States constantly always fails, and they haven't learned their lesson from the past 40 years from having these tactics of the Islamic Republic. So that was one head of IRGC. This is another head of IRGC, his Hajizadeh. That's his name. So let's see what he's saying.
امریکایی‌ها در منطقه حداقل در اطراف ایران 10 پایگاه دارن.
So he's saying the Americans have around 10 bases around Iran.
50,000 نفر نیرو هم دارن.
And they have 50,000 personnel, military personnel around Iran.
یعنی در یک اتاقک شیشه‌ای نشستن.
So he's saying that means that they're sitting in so he's threatening America. He's saying like the Americans are basically sitting in a glass house. He's saying all of these bases that America has around Iran, we could hit them. So they shouldn't be threatening us because we could basically attack the military bases of the United States. Yeah, let's watch you do that.
کسی که تو اتاقک شیشه‌ای هست سمت کسی سنگ‌پرانی نمی‌کنه.
He's saying whoever is sitting in a glass house shouldn't be. He's saying America is sitting in a glass house compared to themselves. He's saying they should be afraid. Wow. Okay. Sure, buddy. Sure. Let's listen to what Khamenei. This is Khamenei's recent speech in response to all the threats. So it's interesting because he sent a letter. By the way, guys, it gets better. The response is actually gets better because let me spoiler alert. Trump just came out, and apparently, should I show you that first? Maybe I should show you that first, because apparently they are so fucking scared, and I don't know if Trump is being honest here or not. We'll see. let me show you this first before I go back to Khamenei, okay? Because Trump is now saying apparently they have now said they are so fucking scared because of all of the military buildup around Iran that they now have signaled that they are going to say yes to direct negotiations as well. This is if let's listen to Trump, okay? By the way, I don't know if I could believe Trump here or not, but let's listen to what Trump is saying here.
Iran, they have come out and said if they're going to sit down with the U.S., they want to use an intermediary, and I believe the
Guys, is the volume? I know the volume is in a plane, but can you guys hear it? I want to make sure if you guys understand. Can you hear it properly, or do you want me to repeat what is being said?
Iran, they have come out and said if they're going to sit down with the U.S., they want to use an intermediary. And I believe the U.S. wanted direct talks. Would you still be willing to talk to them via an intermediary?
I think it's better if we have direct talks. I think it goes faster and you understand the other side a lot better than if you go through intermediaries. They wanted to use intermediaries. I don't think that's necessarily true anymore. I think they're concerned. I think they feel vulnerable, and I don't want them to feel that way. And I think they want to be, Iran, they're talking about Iran.
You said you don't think they want to use intermediaries anymore. Did they send another letter?
Yeah.
Did the UAE let you know about this?
I know for a fact. I think they'd like to have direct talks.
Can you say anything about what the letter said from Iran?
No, I just think I'm just telling you, I think they want to have, forget about letters, I think they want to have direct talks.
So this actually, the longer version of this continues. He's saying that forget about letters. Apparently, they are talking directly without letters anymore, and they have signaled to Trump that we are going to have direct talks if what Trump is saying is true. So not only they are saying yes to negotiations against what Khamenei was saying just a few months ago, that there was no way that we negotiate. They are doing something that they have never said that they would do, which is direct talks. Even when United States was, I mean, this is according to them, the evil killer of Qasem Soleimani. After he killed Qasem Soleimani, they said they would never negotiate with him. Then they went from not negotiating to indirect negotiations, and apparently now they're going to direct negotiations. But now let's listen to what Khamenei has been saying after all of this military build-up. So this is his most recent speech. So let's listen to that. Okay, so this part of it, Khamenei, actually, let me make sure. Khamenei, here. Let me actually bring this one. Yeah. So the context of what he's saying here is that Khamenei thinks that the United States is too coward, like they will not attack militarily. So he's saying that they're bluffing. They're bluffing. Before he said this, Khamenei said that the chances of United States actually attacking from outside to Iran is very low. After he said that, this part is coming out and saying that they probably, the way that they would attack United States, they attack is from inside, meaning that the enemy from within. And you know what he means by the enemy from within? He means the Iranian people. So Khamenei thinks, his belief is that the United States is too cowardly and too weak to actually attack Iran directly. And the only way they attack Iran is to get the Iranian people to rise up against the regime. So he considers the Iranian people who rise up against the regime to be basically an extension of Israel and United States. And now he's here in this part, he's warning the Iranian people. They are scared. They are very scared that in all of these tense situations, the Iranian people, if there's an attack happens by Israel or United States, in the middle of all of this, there will be the Iranian people will think like this is now their chance, because the Iranian regime is too preoccupied defending itself against the United States, and maybe people will rise up in the streets to topple the regime. So Khamenei in this video is threatening them. So he's saying if they are thinking about causing division inside Iran, just like they did in previous years. He's talking about the uprising after Mahsa Amini's murder. Okay, so he's referring to that. He's just so he thinks that all of that. He doesn't, when the Iranian people rise up against the regime, he doesn't give agency. He doesn't consider the Iranian people to have any agencies of themselves. So yeah, he always called them. They use the Islamic term fitna, which means division. He considered when the Iranian people rise up to be able to determine their own destiny and have a government that represents the Iranian people, he basically denies that these Iranian people are they're fools that have been that they're extension, that they're arms of the Zionists and the Western imperialists. So he denies them their agency. He thinks like this is not out of their own doing, right? So he says that's how he describes the uprising of the Iranian people after Mahsa Amini's murder, right? And he says if they try to repeat that again, he says the Iranian people, the Iranian nation will respond to them themselves. Okay, so it's interesting because the Iranian people, the vast majority of them are against the regime. So this is how the vocabulary of Khamenei works. When he says the Iranian people or the Iranian nation, he's talking about the 6% of Iranians who support him, his regime himself. Okay, that's what he means by people. But when he talks about enemies, the enemies from within, the people, the fitna, the division from within, and the enemies, the agents of Western imperialism and Zionism, who are not the people, he's talking about the more than 90% of the Iranian people who are against him. Yeah, less than 6% actually. So let's continue. So he's saying like just like the Iranian people, meaning the people who support him, responded to Iran to the enemies from within, they will respond to again. So he's saying that the Basijis, the morality police, and all these other people, the guards, the members of the IRGC who come and kill the Iranian people in the streets, who blind them, who torture them, who rape them in mass numbers, he considers that to be the justified response to the enemies from within. He calls the Iranian people the enemies from within. All right, now let's look at some more of his responses. This is interesting. Let's look at this one. So now he's responding. Now he's talking about the threats that he's hearing from Trump and his administration. He's now responding to that. This actually, I should have shown you this first because this came before the video that I just showed you. Okay, so the video that I just showed you was in the context of him saying this one first. So listen to this. Oh, no, this is not the video I thought. Okay, so this one is in response to Israel. So this is very important for you to see because you can see after all of these threats, this is his position still on Israel. So they're bending the knee to United States, but they want to still act tough. And this is what they do. They're not as aggressive in their language against the United States anymore, but they're trying to act tough against Israel to show that they have the upper hand. In fact, there's something very interesting because I show you. You know how in Iran, a lot of places where you have the flag of United States and flag of Israel to walk on, they're now removing the flag of United States and leaving the flag of Israel, right? For people to only walk on the flag of Israel, and they're removing the flag of United States because this is a way to signal to United States that, okay, we are fucking bending the knee. We are so fucking afraid. We're just going to be, but they still need to signal to the people inside Iran that we're so strong. So they're not going to remove their antagonism against the United States because they're afraid. But to make up for it, they have to double down on their aggression against Israel to show that they're not weak. And this is why he's saying this. So listen to this. که این گروه تبهکار باید از فلسطین ریشه کن بشود. So he's saying this evil group, meaning Israel, they have to be derooted, unrooted. Is it unrooted, derooted? I don't know. It has to be derooted from Palestine. So when he says Palestine, he's talking about all the area that we call Israel and Palestine. He considers all of that to be Palestine. And he's saying this evil uprooted. Thank you, Amir. Uproot, is that the right word? Okay. He's saying that these people, is basically Jews and Israelis, have to be completely eliminated from that entirety of that land. He's saying this because because people are realizing in Iran, even their own fans, that they're bending the knee to Trump. So he needs to say these to show, but this actually works for us because we have to show that, these people deserve being bombed because they're still, even until this point, they're still insisting in wiping Israel off the map.
حول و قوه الهی ریشه‌کن هم خواهد شد در اینجا این.
And he's saying with God's power they will be uprooted. By the way, Sohail or anyone else, do you have the picture of when they showed their missiles, the underground missile base? The flag that they had was only the flag of Israel. If anybody has that picture, can they send it to me? And also, I showed you guys already in the previous streams where they were painting over the flag of the United States and only leaving the flag of Israel for people to walk on. I showed some of that in the previous stream, but it was interesting because when they were also demonstrating their underground missile facility, there's U.S. Oh, Ali, can you send that to me? There's always a U.S. flag there and a Israel flag there. Thank you, Ali, for people to walk on. And this time it was only an Israel flag. And this was basically a signal to Americans like, hey, we could actually stop being, we could actually, please don't grape us. We will stop acting like we are powerful against you. Oh, we got Juris gave us used his or her 20-month membership to say Trump won't want pay commission to middlemen UAE. No, Trump. The reason why Trump doesn't want a middleman is because, again, Trump sometimes bluffs, sometimes he doesn't. We have to see what he does. He's unpredictable. But he's correct to say that negotiations with middle people doesn't produce any results. Like we have any good results because we have a lot of experience with that. Right? Let me see. Did Ali send me anything? Not yet. Okay, I will show that to you once Ali sends it. Yeah, I'll wait for Ali. But let's continue with this. By the way, guys, you know that you're not getting this level of detail anywhere else, right? Do you appreciate the stream? Make sure you like the stream because nobody would understand Iranian politics as much as the audience of this channel, okay? Unless you're Iranian and you're following. No, let me be honest. Unless you're an Iranian who is following Iranian news on Iranian media, then other than that, only people who watch this channel understand Iranian politics as much. But let me see. Ali sent me something. Where is he? Oh, okay. I was looking. Oh, fantastic. Oh my God, Ali, you're amazing. Thank you. This is good. This is just one example. I already showed you some examples of previously when they were. Wait, where did I save this? Let me just see. Image file, download. Oh, yeah, here. Let me just quickly show you guys this. So, yeah, so this is their نرمش قلم جمهوری اسلامی پرچم آمریکا رو کف شهرک مشکیش نکشه. So here, the picture before is from a year ago. This is whenever they are demonstrating their military power in their underground military bases, they always have the flag of United States and Israel for them to walk on and then go in to demonstrate other abilities. And the upper one is just a recent one. They only have flag of Israel. They are not putting flag of United States. It's a signal to United States that you know what, maybe we could be friends, United States. How about that? Thank you, Ali, by the way, for sending me this, and so thank you so much. And I don't know, guys, how do I translate نرمش قهرمانانه in English, because this is like this is from the Independent posting this in Persian. نرمش قهرمانانه, they're making fun of Khamenei. Basically, yeah, I don't know, it's a comedy, but it doesn't translate well to English.
در راه این کار یک وظیفه است، هم وظیفه.
Oh, wait, what did he say? Oh, so he's saying it's a duty. So to eliminate, to wipe Israel off the map, to basically uproot Israel from Palestine for that entire place. He's saying this is the duty. Heroic. Maddie's saying it's called heroic softness. Yes, yeah, heroic softness. They're like, we are heroically. That's what Khamenei actually used as a term, right? Whenever they bend the knee and surrender, they're saying, this is not us being weak. This is us being heroically soft. They actually use that terminology. So now Khamenei once mentioned that, and now Iranian people make fun of them. Like, oh, they didn't surrender. They're just being heroically soft. Yes.
در راه این کار یک وظیفه است، هم وظیفه دینی است، هم وظیفه اخلاقی است، وظیفه انسانی است.
Okay, so he's saying that the elimination of Israel is it's a moral responsibility, it's a religious responsibility. I don't know why he separates religion from morality. It's almost as if religion has anything to do with morality, but he's saying it's a moral responsibility, it's a religious responsibility, and it's a humanistic responsibility. It's a human responsibility.
وظیفه دارن در این راه کار کنن، تلاش کنن برای اینکه این موجود شریر رو، این موجود جنایت.
He's saying that it's a responsibility. It's all of these responsibility to destroy this evil, this pure evil entity, which is Israel.
کار رو از این منطقه حذف کنن. مواضع ما.
Yes, exactly. That's the best way. They're heroically bending over.
مواضع ما همه بدانند. مواضع ما همون مواضعی.
Okay, so this is very interesting because now he's saying that, listen, hey people, our positions have not changed. He's saying that because a lot of people in Iran are now noticing that, holy shit, Khamenei, you said that we will not negotiate, and now you're negotiating. And Khamenei is like, oh, America, who? Fuck Israel. Like, oh boy, I shouldn't say that on YouTube. We will eliminate Israel, blah, blah, blah. And our positions have not changed, okay? So he's saying, please don't pay attention to the fact that my positions regarding negotiation with the United States has changed. Hey, look, we're still so anti-Israel. This means our positions have not changed, right? He's saying our positions are still the same. Look at this. Yes. Our positions are still the same positions that we had before.
دشمنی آمریکا و رژیم صهیونیستی هم همونی است که بود.
He's saying and the antagonism, the animosity of United States and Israel against us is the same as before. So he's basically saying nothing to see here, nothing has changed. Don't accuse me of changing direction. Our position is the same as before.
تهدید میکنن که شرارت خواهند کرد.
He's saying they're threatening us of doing evil things.
البته اگر شرارتی انجام بگیره ما خیلی اطمینان نداریم.
He's like, however, if they do actually do something evil, we are not very sure that they will do such an evil thing from outside.
احتمال زیاد نمیدیم که از بیرون شرارتی انجام.
So he's saying that the Israel and United States, if they do something evil, we actually see it very unlikely for this to happen from outside. Here he's saying that Khamenei is saying that it's very unlikely for a military attack to happen. He's basically saying he here is saying that Trump is bluffing. Okay, that's what he's saying. This is okay, yeah. So this was the context of the video that I showed you before, because then he went to the threat from within and he threatened the Iranian people that if you actually want to do something on behalf of United States and Israel in the way he sees it, the Iranian people are doing their own thing, but he sees it as on behalf of the United States and Israel, then my people will fuck you up. That was the threat towards the Iranian people. But before he said that, here he's saying that he sees it very unlikely for this evil to come from outside.
که از بیرون شرارتی انجام بگیره، اما اگر شرارتی انجام بگیره.
Oh, by the way, one important point I forgot to mention is that when he was saying that our positions are the same, the camera went to Araghchi. This is the foreign minister, okay? The reason why the camera, when Khamenei was talking about the fact that our positions have not changed and our positions are the same, and the camera went to Araghchi, do you guys know why the camera went to Araghchi? Do you guys know why the camera went to the supreme to the foreign minister? Because the point of the camera work, this is important for you to recognize. The point is that Khamenei is supposed to signal to his base, to his supporters, that we are, at least us, we are on the same direction, that we have principles that we will not back down on. And if you're seeing different narratives coming from the regime in we negotiate, we don't negotiate, we don't negotiate, we don't negotiate, is because they're reformist. Okay? Khamenei loves the reformist because the reformists in Iran are used to blame the things that the heroic softness, or basically the heroic bend over that they do, is that those are supposed to be not Khamenei's policy. Those are supposed to be the reformist for taking the country in a direction that Khamenei doesn't want. This way, the hardliners, instead of blaming Khamenei, they will blame the reformists. Araghchi, who is now a foreign minister of a so-called reformist presidency, when Khamenei says that we still have the same positions, the camera went to Araghchi because the audience of these videos are supposed to be like, yeah, fuck you, Araghchi. You reformists are responsible for our supreme leader keeps saying don't negotiate with Trump. It's you reformists who are constantly changing the direction to this other side. So that's why the camera, when Khamenei was saying that we are not changing direction, we have these principles, the camera goes to Araghchi. We're like, yeah, listen to him. And a lot of, for example, a lot of hardliners I saw on social media, they were like, oh, this cameraman knows what he's doing. Listen, Araghchi, listen to your supreme leader. Why are you not listening to your supreme leader? That's the point of the camera work, right? But the problem is that a lot of reformists know what Khamenei wants them to do, so they do all the dirty work of Khamenei and take the blame. But Pezeshkian constantly comes out and says the quiet part out loud. Like he's supposed to go and do the negotiations and take the blame, but he comes out and says like, oh, by the way, Khamenei told me to do this. And he gives up, like he basically ruins the game for Khamenei. But a lot of hardliners come out and say that, oh, Pezeshkian is lying. Khamenei would never say to Pezeshkian to go negotiate with Trump. Pezeshkian wants to do something unpopular, and he constantly blames it on the supreme leader. And we know Pezeshkian is a liar. That's how the hardliners try to save the supreme leader, by basically throwing Pezeshkian under the bus. Okay, but oh wait, we got a super chat. Thank you so much. Jen is saying, always appreciate your work. Keep it up always, from Singapore. Well, thank you. That's amazing. We have fans in Singapore. I love that. Thank you for the super chat. All right, so let's continue, guys. See, like who? I'm even explaining to you why the camera goes to Arakchi when Khamenei says that. Like, where do you get that? Where do you get that? Where else would you get this? But now listen to this part.
شرارتی انجام بگیره ما خیلی اطمینان نداریم.
So yeah, remember he's saying that we think it's very unlikely for the attack to come from outside, meaning that all these B-2 bombers, all these airstrike carriers, all these F-35s that are coming here, he's saying I don't think they're going to use it. I don't think they're going to attack us. That's what Khamenei is saying.
احتمال زیاد نمیدیم که از بیرون شرارتی انجام بگیره، اما اگر شرارتی انجام بگیره قطعاً ضربه متقابل محکم خواهند خورد.
He's saying, oh, now the camera went to Haji Zadeh. wait, so Haji Zadeh, let me actually make sure he's responsible for, Ali Haji Zadeh. He's the part. So Khamenei just now here, this part he said, however, if they do attack, if there is a military attack, Khamenei said the chances are very low that they would do such a thing. But if they do, there will for sure be a major response back from us. Like we will hit them hard. That's what Khamenei is promising if they attack us. And the camera went to Haji Zadeh, the IRGC, the part of the IRGC who's responsible for the missile attacks. So he's part of the. Let me see what his official position is. Serves the commander of aerospace forces. Okay, so he is part of the IRGC. His position is aerospace forces, right? So when Khamenei was saying like, "Oh, our position has not," so IRGC is considered to be in line with Khamenei. That's actually not true, but that's what people say and agree on. So IRGC is supposed to be like the hardliners who are in line with the policy of Khamenei. So when Khamenei was saying that our position has not changed, the camera went to a reformist Arakchi to say like, oh, this man is to blame for any misdirection or any toothpick coming from the regime. But when Khamenei, and this camera angle, this second one that is pointing at Haji Zadeh is a celebration of Haji Zadeh, because when Khamenei was saying like, oh, we will respond strongly, then the camera turned on to the warrior of the IRGC, this great commander of our. By the way, Israel, can you please take this guy out? You know, this is a very good target. Like, this will be a major gift to the Iranian people. Okay, this is the guy that manages all the missiles that are come down upon the Israeli people. This is the guy who manages all that. Okay, so Mossad, if this is a really good target. This is a really good target, and it would make the Iranian people so happy, because this is also the guy who is responsible for blowing up the Ukrainian flight that killed a lot of Iranian people. This man killed a lot of Iranian people by shooting down the plane that was carrying a lot of Iranian people. So Iranian people would be so grateful to Israel if this guy is assassinated. Okay, but this camera angle is responsible for celebrating this, as Khamenei saying that if they attack us, we will attack back. Okay, so people, I see the Israelis in the chat are saying noted. So confirmation, I sent the request, and people from Israel are not writing this down. So if he's taking that, guys, if Haji Zadeh is ever assassinated, it was a response to my request. Okay, so you're welcome.
شرارتی انجام بگیره قطعاً ضربه متقابل محکم خواهند خورد.
Or like, oh, if they do anything evil, they will for sure be hit with a major response. So they're saying Allah Akbar, death to whoever is against the guardianship of the jurists. Basically, these people are chanting death to the majority of Iranian people. Okay, when they say Allah Akbar, Khamenei Rahbar, which means Khamenei is the supreme leader, should be the supreme leader. And then they say death to whoever is against the guardianship of the jurist. Their first death chant is not America. The first death chant is not the UK. It's not Israel. Their first death chant is to the majority of Iranian people, because the majority of the Iranian people, including religious ones, including religious Iranians, are against the guardianship of the jurors. Okay, let me actually go to. Oh wait. Headstand. Oh no, wait. Heads and Tails is saying my parents raised me on common sense, not religion. Well, you have very wise parents, Heads and Tails. Good on your parents. Let me actually go to the next video. I have more. I come with gifts. Wait, let me see what he did. I play this one? Let me see if I played here. What did he say here?
جوانان غیور منطقه را به نیابتی بودن متهم می‌کنند.
Okay, so this is very important because apparently it gets on. So Khamenei has recently, so for years, guys, for years, we have been calling, everybody has been calling Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Kataeb, Hashd-e-Shaabi, Fatimiyun, all of these little different groups around the region who are Jihad-e-Islami, all of these little groups are terrorist groups, Bashar Assad, that are proxies of the Iranian regime. Okay, we call them the proxies of the Iranian regime. And not only we have been calling them that, and political analysts have been calling them that, IRGC, the Iranian regime, even refers that I showed you videos of the Iranian regime referring to them as our proxies. They call them their proxies. But recently, Khamenei has came out and almost in most of his speeches, he constantly comes out and says, these are not our proxies. Why are you insulting them? They are their own thing. They are our allies for sure in the axis of resistance, but they are not proxies of us. And he says it in a way to try to suggest that I'm saying it because I am respecting their independence. But the actual reason why he's saying it is because he's pissing his pants and he's signaling to America. So remember, the tone of it is as if he's suggesting that no, these are independent people and I recognize their independence. And he's saying it from he's trying to act like he's saying it from a position of strength. But the actual thing that he's saying is like, please, Trump, we're not supporting these people anymore, okay? They will no longer be our proxies. And again, guys, we just got recent confirmation that they're stopping supporting the Houthis. So when he says that these are not our proxies, is basically begging to United States and saying like, hey, guys, let's chill. We are not going to support these people anymore. Can you please do not grape us? Okay, that's what you should be listening. So let's listen to this. And I told you what he means, but listen how when he says it, he tries to send that signal to the United States by acting tough because he knows this is the challenge for Khamenei. He has to beg the United States to back down while acting tough at the same time to his support, to his base. And that's why he doesn't know, how do I get America to read something from my message and my own people to read something else? And again, the way to compensate always is to also attack Israel while saying, hey, United States, can you please back off? Listen to this. So he's saying the young, honorable people in the area. So when he says the young honorable men in the region, he's talking about Hamas fighters, he's talking about Hezbollah fighters, he's talking about Houthi fighters. He says they accuse them of being proxies. Basically, they accuse these people, these young, brave, honorable fighters in the region. They accuse them of being our proxies.
من میخوام بگم در این منطقه فقط یک نیروی نیابتی وجود داره و اون رژیم صهیونی غاصب فاسده.
He's saying, I want to tell everybody that in this region there's only one proxy, and that proxy is is Israel, but he doesn't call it Israel. He's saying is the regime. He's saying the only proxy in this region. So basically, his message is that not these groups are not our proxies. Israel is United States proxy. So he's saying don't call the Houthis our proxy. Don't call Hezbollah our proxies. Don't call Hamas our proxy. Call is the only proxy in this region is Israel, which is United States. The regime. So he's saying the only proxy is the corrupted, occupying Zionist regime. I don't know, a whole bunch of adjectives he listed. That's Pezeshkian. He's the president, and that's Haji Zadeh behind him. Oh. Guys, do you know why the camera went on Pezeshkian here? Why did the camera went on Pezeshkian here? What was the point of that? Why did the camera when Khamenei came out and said that it's the evil Zionist regime that is the proxy here, why did the camera went on Pezeshkian here? No, of course put the blame on him, yeah, but why? Well, like why? How is he? No, because the camera is trying to show that he's not saying death to Israel. Okay? The camera is like, look, like other people, like he just has his head down and like not paying attention. Like when Khamenei said that, everybody, like people are saying, oh, death to Israel. And the camera went to him because look, in response to this accusation against Israel, Pezeshkian didn't do that. Yeah, so that was the point of this, okay? And also, if he said that, like he said it late, like sometimes the camera is trying to show that the reformers are saying are either not saying it or saying it with not much enthusiasm. Yes, exactly, Parisa, because they're saying because a lot of supporters of Khamenei consider these people to be agents of Zionists. So there's like a lot of supporters of Khamenei think that all the problems in Iran, all the poverty problems, all the weaknesses is because the regime within the Islamic Republic, the officials are not listening to Khamenei. And that's why we have so many problems. If they actually listen to Khamenei, everything would be so strong and we would have defeated Israel by now. But the reason why they're not listening to Khamenei is because they're agents of Israel. These are Zionist spies, okay? But however, they don't. What actually is happening is that they're completely in line with Khamenei is telling them to do. Khamenei is just in Persian we call them separ bala. Like it's basically a shield. They're just basically taking the bullets for Khamenei for the things that he wants to do, but is unpopular among his base. Okay, so let me see. That was video number 12. Let me see if video number 13 is something that I already showed or not.
مواضع ما همه بدانند مواضع ما همون مواضعی است که بود.
Oh yeah, I already showed you this one. This one was when the camera went on that here. Yeah, okay, so wait, this was okay. Let me just show you from an American politician. What is this guy's name? Corey or something?
There's this, and it's simply to.
Hold on. This for some reason got on the nerve of a lot of hardliners. Okay, I saw somebody in tears, a mullah, and almost in tears from listening to this. What is this guy's name? I don't know my American. some of these. Is this Corey something? Yeah, I think so. But look at what he says. This guy says something directly to Khamenei, and I tell you what the hardliners were pissed off about.
But the message that I
oh, Sahel, good job. Yes, Separ Bala is like scapegoat. Yeah, they scapegoat. Scapegoat is a good translation. And then let me actually read this, show you this, and then let me show you.
But the message that I wish to deliver is this, and it's simply to Ayatollah Khamenei, and I would deliver this to you. President Trump will work with you to peacefully end your nuclear weapons and ballistic missile program, or President Trump will destroy your nuclear weapons and ballistic missile program. You get to choose the remedy, Ayatollah.
So this pissed off a lot of hardliners because they thought, like, shut your mouth. How dare you speak the name of our supreme leader? And I saw one of these hardliners in tears for why the reformers and other infiltrators have made the country. Oh, Cory Booker, thank you, Gene. Have made the country so weak that because they think that the Iranian regime is so strong and powerful that these people never used to mention Khamenei's name because people cower in fear just by hearing Khamenei's name because of the might that he has. This is why the politicians of Western countries deal with the president, because they're not at the level to even mention. They do not even have the honor to mention the name of Khamenei, right? So when they see, like, they're like, who is this politician? He's not even the president of the United States. He's a low-level guy, and he dares address our supreme leader. And some of them were like in tears and crying and like almost crying because they felt like how weak you have made the people who cause fitna, the people who cause division in Iranian politics. Look how weak you have made us for a U.S. politician to even dare address our supreme leader. Like, we have to go back into the position of strength, as if they were ever in that position, for these people not to even dare mention. Like, these people need to pay the cost to address our supreme leader in such a way. So this got a lot of reactions and on Iranian social media. Here's another video that got a lot of. This was by a lot of anti-regime Iranian. A lot of them were loving this video. And I don't know who this politician is. I know he's a Republican in Congress. I just don't know his name. I could look up his name. But anyways, it doesn't matter. But I just saw this on Iranian social media. A lot of Iranian people were sharing this and they were loving it. So let's listen what this one is saying.
And I want to be very clear. There is a difference, and I think it's important to always point out the differentiation in this. There is a difference in the regime and the Iranian people. The Iranian people want a free Iran. I can tell you that those who are bravely protesting in the streets, those who are continuing to try and risk their lives every single day, like Mahsa Amini did, to say enough is enough, shouldn't be lumped in. So when our colleagues very recklessly just says Iran, I think that that's a very big misnomenclature, and I want to correct that for the record.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, by the way, I don't know this politician's position on different things. So if this guy ends up being somebody who supports a whole bunch of bullshit, I don't care about his other positions. I'm just telling you this line here was welcomed by a lot of Iranians. Okay, so let me actually respond to your comments. And again, I want to thank Sohail for not only highlighting the comments, but starring the ones that he thought I should be reading. I'm just saying, if that to happen, I'm afraid the Iranian people might be hurt in the crossfire. Yeah, I mean, it depends. There's always going to be consequences, collateral damage. But if a war happens, I hope the attacks are on military bases, on uranium enrichment facilities. I hope it's not the infrastructure that the Iranian people depend on for their economic needs. I hope that's not being targeted, and I hope the civilian casualties are to the minimum. But just remember that the number of Iranian people dying and suffering because of the poverty, because of the mismanagement, because of the terrorism, because of the oppression. Poverty kills. So many Iranian people right now cannot afford their healthcare. Basic medication that is available in so many countries, Iranian people, it's either not in Iran or they can't afford it. A lot of people are really suffering under this regime. So there always going to be a cost associated with whatever we do, but the amount of suffering that the Iranian people are experiencing under Islamic Republic is going to be much higher than any suffering that will come from United States attacking the Iranian regime. Of course, there are going to be consequences there, but that suffering is so little. I mean, it's going to be big, but in comparison to the suffering of continuing to live under the Islamic Republic, it's not even comparable. It's on a completely different level. Paulie saying Trump doesn't joke around. Trump sometimes bluffs. Trump as unpredictable. He bluffs. I mean, okay, let me tell you. So Paulie saying Trump doesn't joke around. He means what he says. Yeah, he means what he says at the time, but then he changes his mind. And then he's already revamping the military and everything. He's carrying a big stick and only wields it when he needs to. Yeah, but he might not attack. Okay. So, for example, so we have plenty of examples. If somebody wants to say when Trump says something, he will do it, you're going to find examples of that, plenty of examples of that to make that point. But if somebody also wants to say that Trump, when he says something, he won't do it, there's plenty of examples of that as well. I mean, even recently, Trump said that if the Houthis he specifically said this, right? He came out, I'm going to give you one example of Trump saying something and then not doing it, right? Trump threatened the Houthis, threatened the Iranian regime that if the Houthis shoot one more bullet in the direction of any U.S. Military ships, okay, that would be seen as a direct attack by the Iranian regime upon America, and it would be responded to accordingly, okay? And there will be just even one bullet, okay? And they would be attacked and whatnot. But the Houthis continued to attack U.S. ships, and Trump came out and said that, I've heard that even though the Iranian regime is still supporting the Houthis, they're reducing that support. And I welcome that, and that's a good development, right? So yeah. So what happened? Like so sometimes sometimes Trump's backs down on the thing that he said so aggressively. Right. So I mean, what you're saying, Paulie, is like it goes against the art of the deal that he has too, because sometimes within the art of the deal philosophy that he has, it includes bluffing. Right, so sometimes he's bluffing. So when you say he means what he says, not according to his own book, according to his own philosophy, you have to bluff sometimes. Let me look at this. So Hale saying some people say that these analysis predicting that Iran will still reach uranium enrichment and the U.S. will launch an attack have always been around. Along with American official threats. Well, I mean, those analyses are correct. The point is that a lot of people don't get it. Like, why is Iran always 2 months away from having a nuclear weapon? Why does this 2 months or 3 months or 6 months never pass? The point that they're making is not that these 6 months is going to pass. The point is that the Iranian regime wants to always remain a few months away from having a nuclear weapon, but be able to, like, this is not a 2 months that after 2 months it will close. This is a 2 months that will always be there, because the Iranian regime's philosophy is that I don't want to have the cost associated with having a nuclear weapon to unite the world against me, but I want to have the deterrence of having a nuclear weapon. So the good in between is to keep advancing my technology so that at any point, if I want to, I am only a few days away from having a nuclear weapon. So not so the Iranian regime says like because they know that the intelligence operations of United States and Israel will always be able to figure out if they have a nuclear weapon, and the consequences of that is very huge. So the best thing I could do is not have a nuclear. So imagine if you have two pieces of Lego that if you put together, it will become a nuclear weapon. Okay, so the Iranian regime was like, how about I don't just put this together, but I just have them apart, and at any point I could be like, right? But I don't put like, look, guys, I don't have a nuclear weapon. Look, I don't. But but I can very easily. So I want to always be just a few days away, like be so advanced to the point that even if I don't have a nuclear weapon, I can have it very fast if I want. That's the in-between that the Iranian regime wanted. And they think that that's the best thing to have the deterrence of a nuclear weapon without the costs of uniting the world against them for having a nuclear weapon. That was their philosophy. So no, well, not all of their philosophy, but a major part of them. No, I'm saying, do you guys think Khamenei wears diaper? Okay, I don't like, guys. Like, what do I do with this? What's Soil? Why did you? Okay. Oh, you mean like because he's pissing his pants and he's scared of like? Oh, okay, now I get it. The Dajjal is saying actually it worked great for them because Obama was a fucking idiot who gave them everything they wanted. He can't admit that. Though, of course, I mean, Obama made mistakes, of course, with the Iranian regime, and he made a lot of, and he realized that now. Okay, he did the philosophy of appeasement. I wouldn't call Obama an idiot, but he did make major blunders when it comes to the policies that he had with the Iranian regime. I mean, maybe like it could be considered idiotic for you to not, after all of these experiences with the Iranian regime, not realizing that appeasement doesn't work with these people, and these people only understand the language of force. Yeah, that is idiotic, to be honest. I mean, but at least Obama came and admitted that was a mistake. Peter is saying, which Ayatollah issued the nuclear fatwa? Khamenei, but here's the thing. Khamenei said that he issued a fatwa that we were not going to have a nuclear weapon. However, this is the way that they could get around it, okay? A fatwa doesn't make something a sin, right? But the word of God makes something a sin. So think about this. Eating a pig is a sin in Islam. But if you're dying, so according to the revelation from God himself, direct revelation from God himself, eating pork is a sin. However, as a Muslim, if you're dying from starvation, to save your life, you are allowed to eat pork when it comes a matter of life and death. So here's what a Muslim can say, like a Muslim who's supporting the Iranian regime could say, like, listen, when it comes to life and death, God's revelation can be put aside. Like what God directly himself has made a sin will become something that you're allowed to do. So if revelation from God can be put aside to save your life, then of course a fatwa could take a back seat when it comes to a matter of life and death. Do you understand that logic? So that's what I mean, logic, but that's how they get around the fatwa if they need to, because they could say like, yeah, we have a fatwa from Khamenei, but if our survival is if the Islamic regime is being threatened for to be to extinction, to be completely destroyed, right? At that point, forget the fatwa, right? Kelvin is saying, I don't think Khamenei is offended. I think Khamenei, Putin, and Xi are celebrating because we have a useful idiot, not a leader of the free world. Okay, so this is not true. I mean, I'm against a lot of Trump's policies. I'm against Trump's tariffs. I'm against Trump's isolationism. I'm against a lot of things that he's doing these days, okay? But Khamenei is they're not happy. Just because we disagree with Trump on certain things, that doesn't mean that what he's doing against the Iranian regime is ineffective. Okay, you could be anti-Trump regarding all of the other. You could be pro-Trump or anti-Trump again regarding all his other policies, and we could discuss that. And you could be right, you could be incorrect, you could be right. Okay, but when it comes to the Iranian regime, I mean, Putin might be happy right now with Trump a bit, a lot actually. Xi actually Xi, I don't know if he's happy because this like the isolationism that Trump is introducing is going to be devastating for China's economy as well. So Xi, I don't know. Putin is happy. Xi, I don't know. But Khamenei is fucking afraid. They are. I think they're hating on them. They hate the fact that we should have take advantage of Biden when he was in power. They're regretting not negotiating with Biden. Khamenei and his entire regime are extremely, extremely terrified of Trump. And whatever disagreements I have with Trump's on his other policies, and there's plenty there. I promise you that. When it comes to the Iranian regime, I prefer the maximum pressure right now that we're seeing by Trump against the Islamic Republic. I mean, what Trump is doing is against MAGA. Like the people who voted for Trump, they don't want Trump to voted for him to be less interventionists when it comes to anything beyond United States borders, right? So Trump is basically what he's doing with the Iranian regime is something that I welcome, and his voter base, if they're consistent, should not want. Right? But yeah, but this is not true. It's Trump Khamenei is not at all celebrating. Khamenei is doing the very opposite of celebrating when it comes to Trump. And Wab is saying Houthis don't care about the civilians, but I think Iranian regime does. The Iranian regime cares about civilians? What makes you think that? The Iranian regime... Who's civilians? Civilians? The Iranian regime doesn't care about any civilians, including the civilians in Iran. No, they don't care about civilians. In fact, the Iranian regime is actively trying to replace the civilians. The civilians in Iran are the greatest threat to the Islamic Republic. I don't know what you exactly mean here. Dark is saying, I wouldn't trust a deal with Trump as well. True, I wouldn't trust a deal with Trump, but I'm not sympathizing with the Iranian regime, okay? The fact that they don't know what the fuck to do, because even if they agree with the deal, I mean, Trump could just throw it away the next day. Yeah, so yeah, Trump, like, for example, Trump did the new NAFTA. I don't know what his name is for it. And now he's going against it. You know, in his first term, Trump signed replaced the NAFTA, and now all the tariffs that he's introducing goes against the very deal that he introduced with, for example, Canada and Mexico. So it's true that you cannot trust a deal with Trump. However, the fact that this is happening to the Islamic Republic and they don't know what the fuck to do, because even if they surrender to Trump, they don't know how strong this deal is going to be. True, this is very tragic for the Islamic Republic, but you don't see me crying for them. You don't see me. Let's play a violin, like, oh, poor Islamic Republic, what they're gonna do. Yeah. Ali is saying, I'm glad that they speak directly to Khamenei and don't care who is the president or not. Okay, so this is Ali. This is very interesting, okay? Because you know what Trump wants? Trump wants a picture, okay? Trump. So I disagree with some Iranians on this, because a lot of Iranians think that Trump doesn't want to deal with the Islamic Republic and he's going to attack. He's going to go attack. But that's not true. I mean, he might attack, but he prefers getting a deal. This is why I always tell the Iranian people that Israel is a greater ally of the Iranian people than United States, because United States is far away from where we are, okay? And the Islamic Republic is not an existential threat to United States, okay? But it is to Israel. So the Iranian people and Israel share a common enemy in a way that they don't share with the United States, okay? So we see eye to eye with Israel. Yes, exactly. Trump wants a legacy. We see eye to eye with Israel more than we see with the United States. Okay, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be ignoring United States. United States is a superpower, and we should the Iranian people and their they should try to play their cards right so that they could get as much U.S. support against the Islamic Republic as they can. But at the end of the day, Israel is more in line with us Iranian people than United States is, right? So Trump at the moment, he doesn't want to topple the Iran. So in Israel, the government there would love to see the Iranian regime topple. Okay, but Trump doesn't want that. Trump doesn't want to topple the Iranian regime. Trump has no problem being responsible for the toppling the Iranian regime. However, he prefers for that not to happen. He prefers for there to be a negotiation. He prefers for him and the Iranian regime to come to an understanding, even though for example, Netanyahu doesn't want that. Netanyahu doesn't want any negotiation. Netanyahu just wants maximum pressure to the point that this regime is destroyed. But Trump doesn't want that. Trump wants the Iranian regime to back down, to surrender, and to sign a deal, and for him to be able to get a picture with the Iranian regime and show to the world that here's my legacy. I did what nobody else could do. Right? Trump wants to have pictures of him doing deals with people to show that he did things that other people could not do. That's what he wants. Okay. And when I say a lot of Iranian Trump supporters hate me for saying that, because it's a taboo to want the Iranian regime to negotiate with the United States, because Iranian people are saying United States should not be negotiating with the Iranian regime. The United States should not be negotiating with the Iranian regime. They should just go maximum pressure forever. They should never they should never remove their boot from their neck, right? And when I suggest that Trump actually wants to put maximum pressure to the point that they could surrender, and then he will remove the pressure and negotiate with them, a lot of Iranian Trump supporters attacked me and saying, like, no, Armin, Trump will never sign a deal with the Iranian regime. Trump knows that you cannot trust these people, and he wants to completely destroy them. I disagree with them on that. But the good thing is that even though Trump wanted to negotiate with the Iranian regime, Trump had made that very difficult because he also killed Qasem Soleimani. So he by killing Qasem Soleimani, he has made it a major taboo for the Iranian regime to sign a deal with the killer of Qasem Soleimani. So that's what makes it very difficult, right? And to the point that if they do sign a deal with him to avoid a military attack, the regime would lose a lot of its legitimacy among their base support. And that's actually a major threat to them as well. So they don't know what to do. They're damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they don't sign a deal, they're risking a military attack. If they do sign a deal, then they are dealing with the killer of Qasem Soleimani, and the Iranian, the 6% support that they have might halve to 3%. Okay, that's why they need the reformers, so that the reformers could take the blame. So, and here's another problem: Trump wants to sign a deal with the top guy, not with the president, with Khamenei. And Khamenei, that would be so. Khamenei would never agree to come in the same frame with Trump and sign a deal with him. That would be the end of the Islamic Republic if that happens. That would be the end of the Islamic Republic. That would be that would be the over, right? So the Iranian regime can never. You know how when Trump signed the deal with North Korea, he did maximum pressure until they backed down and they signed the deal and they took the pictures, and the deal was not very influential in North Korean behaviors anyways, but that didn't matter to Trump because he just wanted that deal and the pictures, right? Trump wants a similar thing with Iran, but Khamenei, which is the highest official, would never do that with Trump, okay? So how could Trump get what he wants when Khamenei would never sit with Trump and to sign a deal? The way that the Iranian regime could give Trump something so for him to back down is to take advantage of most people in the world not knowing that the president in Iran is a nobody, right? So given that in most countries presidents are in many countries, in countries that don't have prime ministers, the president is the highest official, right? Iran also doesn't have a prime minister. So they think that in Iran, Trump could take advantage, and Trump and the Iranian regime could come to an understanding that we will send Pezeshkian, which is the president, to sit next to you and sign a deal with you, and he will take all the blame, and the world will also, the picture will look like you sat down with the highest official, the main decision maker in Iran, even though the president is a nobody. But people don't know that. Most Americans don't know that. The Americans would think like, oh, this is a major picture with the highest official of the Iranian regime, right? And so Trump could take advantage of that lack of knowledge to basically get a picture that he wants. And maybe that's what the Iranian regime could give him to avoid United States entering a full-on confrontational war. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. I think I explained everything. But we'll see. Okay, guys, anybody who says that an attack is going to happen 100%, don't trust those people. And anybody who tells you that there's no way an attack will happen, don't trust them either, okay? Right now, I could tell you this. The possibility of war has increased to levels that we have never seen. The idea that United States going into a full-on head-to-head confrontational war with the Iranian regime is now at levels unimaginable. It's greater than it has ever been. Okay, but whether or not it will happen, is still, we don't know. It could. The Iranian regime, this is their priorities. Okay, these are the three priorities of the Iranian regime: survival, survival, survival. Okay, so they will do anything, absolutely anything, to guarantee their survival. Okay, they will, if they have to, they might even send Khamenei to Trump to do whatever he wants with him. If that's the only way they could actually survive, they will do anything. Right. So if the regime might find a way to give Trump what he wants to avoid an attack, for the sake of survival. So an attack might happen, and it might not happen. So you have to be skeptical. But what we can say for sure is that it has never been this high. Okay, we have never been closer to a full war between the Iranian regime and the United States. Okay, it's crazy, and this is a crazy year. Okay, this is a crazy times. Okay, anyways, guys, so this was it. Please like the stream. I think this was a very helpful and educational stream. If you appreciate that, please like the stream. Please leave a comment after the show is over. The comments after the show really help with more people coming later and watching this show. Please subscribe. If you're new here, I have really good analysis here for you guys. And Susanna, by the way, guys, is here she's back. So we're going to have her for the news segment. So she's finally back from her trip. So the news is coming on Sunday. The news segment that we have with Susanna is here. So subscribe and hit the bell notification so that when we go live, it tells you that we're live. And then what else? What else? Oh, yeah. Please recommend this channel to your friends and to your enemies. Okay. And if you're financially secure, please consider becoming a member, because memberships are the main way that we keep this channel running. All right. Yeah. Yes. And share. All right, guys. Thank you and bye-bye. And thank you, Sohail, for being here and highlighting the comments. I appreciate that.